People come to me all the time and they say, I am exhausted. I'm burnt out. I've taken time off. I've had weekends away. I've been on holiday and I still do not feel rested. And if you've ever felt like that, I want you to know that you're not imagining it. Sometimes the answer is not that you need more rest. It's that you're trying to recover while the thing that's exhausting you is still happening. So here are 5 reasons why rest might not be making you feel better and why rest is not actually the key. So, number one is that you're carrying something unresolved. Imagine carrying a heavy suitcase everywhere you go, right? Eventually, you're just going to feel exhausted. Now, you can take all the rest you want, but if you wake up and then you start pulling that suitcase along with you, you're going to burn out within 10 minutes, especially if it's really heavy. Now, life is not different. Sometimes in that suitcase is something that you have not processed, something that could have happened years ago. It might be grief, shame, guilt. It might be a painful experience that you've simply learned to live around. But here's the thing, unresolved things don't just disappear because time has passed. They actually stay with you until you've acknowledged it. And that's what creates this heavy sensation in the body. And other times it might be something in the present, it might be something that you haven't addressed, or it might be something that's happened in your childhood. It might be something that the current relationship that you're in is not right, or the current job is draining you, or a friendship has come to an end and the conversations are always super toxic, or that there's a conversation that you need to have and you just can't face it. Whatever it is, this is the suitcase, and no amount of sleep will remove the weight of something that you're still carrying. Number two is that your life is still leaking energy. Now, most people think exhaustion comes from doing too much, and sometimes it does, but it also comes from tiny leaks happening all day long. The conversations that leave you feeling heavy, or the person that you're around that always complains, or the constant notifications on your phone, or scrolling for an hour without even realizing, or watching Netflix or a program that actually leaves you anxious. Maybe it's the environment that you're in is too cluttered, or you're constantly saying yes when you mean no. Every one of these things leaks energy. And if you think about a pipe and then all of these things are holes, it doesn't matter how much life force flows through, the energy is leaking. So it might not be that one single thing is the problem. It might be that there's 50 tiny leaks every day, or 10 tiny leaks. And by the end of the week, you're wondering, why do I still feel exhausted? I've slept, I've eaten, I've taken the holidays. So this is not about rest. This is about asking yourself, where is your energy leaking? Because that question alone can change everything. The third thing is you are breaking promises to yourself. Now, this one is something that people don't hear others, talking about, because every time you tell yourself that you're going to work out, or you're going to leave a relationship, or from Monday, I'm going to start looking for a new job, or I'm going to start my YouTube channel on Tuesday, or whatever it is, and another 6 months go by, something begins to happen inside you. You stop trusting yourself. Every promise you make to yourself is like a divine contract. It's you telling your mind and body and pre-programming yourself that this is where we're going. And when you repeatedly break those promises, that relationship with yourself begins to weaken. Exactly like if you promise a little child or a parent or anyone in your life something and you don't keep that promise, your relationship with them is going to weaken and they're not going to have the trust in you. And part of them is going to want to believe you, but another part is just going to withdraw. And this internal confusion when you promise yourself something and you don't do it is actually exhausting, because every time you don't do something that you've promised yourself, it feels heavy and it feels like resistance. Number 4 is you're fighting yourself all day. Now, this is actually one of the biggest drains on your energy. So part of you wants to leave something. Another part of you is frightened of what happens if you leave. Part of you wants to rest. Another part of you you is telling your mind, or your mind is like so active and saying, we haven't done enough today. Part of you wants to speak honestly, and another part of you doesn't want to disappoint someone. Parts of you want to start the business, but another part of you says, hey, we're going to fail. Oh, I'm exhausted even thinking about that. Imagine playing tug of war with yourself literally every day, all day. Imagine that the parts are just so polarized that one part of you deeply wants something and the other part really doesn't want you to do something. This is exhausting. And it's not because life is difficult, it's because you've literally spent the entire day being pulling yourself in one direction and then pulling yourself in another direction. It's literally an emotional, energetic tug of war. And sometimes what looks like tiredness is actually just too much internal conflict. And the fifth and final one, I mean, there's so many more, but we're doing 5 for today. The fifth and final one for today is that you've forgotten how to stop carrying. Now, this one goes so much deeper because somewhere along the way, many of us became the responsible one, or the dependable one, or the strong one, or the fixer, the rescuer, the one who always says yes, the one that someone always relies on. And at first, it was your identity, right? It was your way of coping in a situation where you just had to find the identity that made the most sense. But then you go through life and you still carry that identity. And your life might have changed on the outside, but you still feel uncomfortable if you come outside of that identity. So, for example, if you grew up in a household that expected you to grow up really quick and be the kind of like the parent to your parents, and you are the rescuer in your family, and you promise yourself that you're going to leave that situation and you're not going to attract people like that again, but your identity is still the rescuer, you're still going to be acting that way. The minute someone wants help, you're going to rescue them. The minute someone is a little bit vulnerable, you're going to rescue them. And even though no one's actually asking you to be asking you to rescue them anymore, this is your identity. And you feel guilty, or you feel that you're doing something wrong if you don't do that because it's just so familiar to you. This is going to exhaust you. So I really want to ask you, what can you put down? What can you let go of? What can you admit that this is not yours to carry? What identity are you still playing out that just does not make sense in this current day life? And if you'd like to understand the hidden pattern that you've been living from, I've created a free archetype quiz that's going to help you discover the survival identity that you've built over the years. It literally takes a few minutes, and I have given you 20-minute audio transmission all about your survival archetype. So I want to thank you so much for listening to this, and see you on the next video.